Should you draw Social Security right away? Should you delay it? I've got 3 no-brainer times when you should draw your Social Security right away. That and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to drawing Social Security. The vast majority of people draw it immediately, okay, as soon as they possibly can. And there's all sorts of studies out there that show that's not optimal for most people. And therefore, we believe you need to take a planful approach. You need to do comprehensive financial planning, look at all 6 areas of your financial life, and that can help you lead to optimizing Social Security, okay, which is different. Sometimes, and many times, it means drawing it as soon as you retire. Sometimes it actually means, drawing it at 62. Other times, your full retirement age. Sometimes means waiting until age 70. But taking a planful approach, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, can help lead you to, okay, here's the optimal time to draw Social Security based on your situation. And then looking at life and circumstances and whatnot and seeing if you want to wait that long or make a different decision. Well, what are some times that it's just a no-brainer? You absolutely should draw right away, right at 62. Well, there's way more than this, but I've got 3 where it is just a no-brainer. You should draw your Social Security as soon as you possibly can. First is if you're eligible to draw Social Security and you have a minor child at home. Now, this is obviously a rare application. Doesn't make sense for everyone. Not everyone fits these circumstances, but it's so rarely discussed, this unique benefit, that even if the circumstances did align for you, you likely are not aware of this strategy. I've been doing this 20 years, I've only seen it happen once to one client where we were approaching Social Security age and I said, hey, wait a second. We should be, and I sort of taught through this, and they were amazed, absolutely amazed. And that is, if you draw your Social Security and you've got a minor child at home, take a look at these conditions directly from Social Security website, then your minor child is also eligible to get some Social Security as well. That's right, you can legally double dip. If you're drawing retirement benefits or disability benefits and you've got a child younger than age 18 or in college or, these circumstances. So very rarely does it apply, but that would mean you could draw your own Social Security and your child could start drawing Social Security as well. Now, your child's Social Security is not that you can use it for your retirement, but you can save it up for them or for their college, something like that. It's a way to legally double dip into the system. Now, very rarely does this apply. It might apply more moving forward. People are having kids later and later, but if you do the math, this would mean that you had a child in your 50s, most likely, and which is still fairly rare. But this is such a little known rule that even if this did apply to you, likely you weren't aware. Be aware that if you're still working, if you're still earning wages, and you draw Social Security before your full retirement age, then your Social Security could be penalized, even if it makes sense for you to turn this on because you've got a minor child. The circumstance that I'm remembering, this individual was turning 62. He was thinking about retiring either immediately or at 63. We'd done the math. He was able to retire. And it was around age 60, 61 where it was like, well, hey, wait a second. Were you aware of this when you're planning and making a decision? And he said, no, I had no idea. Absolutely. I'm going to retire at 62. He had a younger spouse. His spouse was about 13 years younger than he was. This is their child together. She was still going to work, and that's where they got the health insurance through him anyway. So it sort of made a lot of sense for him to retire a little bit sooner. That would allow him to draw Social Security, their daughter to draw Social Security as well, still had health insurance coverage as well. So that's a no-brainer in time when you should draw Social Security right away. Another one, and this is far more common, and that is if you're in poor health, okay? If you're in poor health. The biggest concern with Social Security, well, there's 2 big concerns, but it really centers around one kind of shared issue, and that is it might not be around tomorrow. Either Social Security might not be around tomorrow, or you might not be around tomorrow, right? No one's guaranteed tomorrow. And with the certainly the insolvency issues and funding problems with Social Security, there's some concerns over Social Security reform and all of that. And so that urge leads people to say, well, I'm going to start drawing Social Security as soon as possible. But then also the simple fact that, well, you have no idea when you're going to pass away, and therefore I'm going to draw Social Security as soon as I possibly can. Well, if you run the numbers and do the math, somewhere around age 80, and it differs for each person. If you live longer than that, approximately, then you would have been better off delaying your Social Security. And yes, you would have used your own funds first in retirement, and then waited for Social Security, and you would have received a higher amount. But after receiving that higher amount per month, every month until approximately age 80, you would have been better off waiting. Well, if you're in poor health and it's really uncertain, or it's less likely that you'll live out to age 80 or past age 80, then you're likely going to want to draw as soon as it makes sense to do so, or right away. Now, does that mean you should reduce your wages or retire early and draw right away at 62? Unlikely. Depends on looking at all 6 areas of your financial life if you can afford to do that. Because again, even if you're in poor health, if you draw your Social Security right away at age 62 or before your full retirement age, which for most of us is 67, and you're still working, you can be penalized. Your Social Security can be penalized if you earn too much. For every $2 over this certain level, your Social Security has a $1 penalty. So it can be penalized away. So you'll want to be aware of that. But obviously, second time, it's a no-brainer to draw your Social Security right away is if you're in poor health. And then the third obvious time when you should draw your Social Security right away is if you are a widow or widower. That's right, and you're eligible for spousal Social Security benefits. Many years ago, almost 10 years ago now, there were a couple of Social Security claiming strategies that many people were using for their unintended purposes. And you could call it a loophole, you could call it a strategy. We help people with these. They didn't apply to the vast majority, but when they did apply, it was a strategy you wanted to use. And in 2015, they were essentially snuffed out. They were phased out. And what I'm talking about is the restricted application and the file and suspend strategies. And the restricted application is one where you could file for Social Security, but only off of your spouse's Social Security. If you just said, well, I don't want to file for my own, I want to file for my spouse's, there were these rules about deeming where you wouldn't deem to have drawn your own, and you could actually file a restricted application filing just to receive spousal benefits. And they snuffed that out. There was a little bit of time period where they still allowed it, but then it was snuffed out shortly thereafter. For everyone except widows and widowers. That's right. If you're a surviving spouse, you're still able to file a restricted application and receive your deceased spouse's Social Security benefit, half of theirs, and allow yours to continue to grow. That's right. This typically makes sense when your deceased spouse's Social Security is lower than yours, and you can allow yours to continue to grow at 8% compound per year, and you would draw their Social Security immediately, right at 62 or as soon as you retire, and then your own would continue to grow until age 70, and at age 70 you'd flip from drawing off of your deceased spouse, you'd flip to drawing on your benefit, which is now much higher because you allowed it to grow. Many, if you're listening to this saying, well, I want to do that, and I'm married, and we're both still living, I want to do that. Well, again, they snuffed that out. That restricted application strategy, if you're still alive, you're now deemed to have drawn or claimed your own Social Security, so you're going to get the higher of the two. The strategy doesn't work unless you're eligible for survivorship benefits. So there is no one-size-fits-all time period where you say, well, this is how you do Social Security no matter the circumstance. This is when you should claim. No, you need comprehensive financial planning, someone that can look at your overall situation and help you have clarity and confidence that you're making the right choices, but also bring creativity to your financial situation. And this is one, is emotionally, we all want to draw Social Security immediately, and that may be the right circumstance for you, but working with your certified financial planner, they can take a look and say, well, what's the optimal way for you to draw Social Security? And these 3 circumstances and several others, it's a no-brainer to draw Social Security right away. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.